Salam alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. If you're watching this, I want you to know that I too can remember feeling like I wasn't in control with my life. I wasn't satisfied with my output. I wasn't living up to my potential. And overall, I knew I needed to make a change desperately, not just physically, but also mentally and even spiritually. Now, before I go down memory lane, I want to let you know that this video is for Muslim men who are looking to make that change in their life and they're figuring out what those next steps look like. Now, once again, I want to get into a couple of things before that, right? One, show you some proof. Show you that I'm about business. I'm about what I'm talking about today and that I can give results. We've got, one of my clients, his name is Joe. He was just thanking me for all of the work that we've put in because he saw the fruits of his labor. He saw that it wasn't for nothing. I got another client who was able to realign their spine just by some exercises that we were doing and just paying attention to how our body talks to us. Another one down a bunch of pounds. Never thought that they could get below 170. They were stuck there for years, and we were able to achieve that. Last but not least, a near and dear friend of mine, but also somebody that has been a client, coming to me and telling me that his weight is going up and he's struggled with gaining weight all of his life, but being able to gain weight just off of properly hydrating himself. You know what I mean? So just a few, but I want to show you guys some brothers, some Muslims from the Ummah who I was able to help achieve results. First up, we've got my own blood brother. His name is Mari. And as you can see here, heck of a transformation. Allahumma barak. It was a blessing to be able to help him along this journey, help him get his confidence back, man, get his swag back. Nobody wants to feel uncomfortable in the skin they're in. You don't want to feel like, oh man, I don't want to take my shirt off, in a halal way, of course, right? But just feeling inadequate in the skin you're in is never a place you want to be as a man. In roughly 4 months, we were able to trim 30 pounds of body fat. As you can see here, my man's flexing on him now. You know what I mean? And then he's been able to keep that weight off ever since. It was one of those things where we had the program from not just the training aspect, but also what he was eating. Next, got good old Rodney. Rodney was actually a former teammate of mine. We played college football together. He's a standout athlete, all conference guy on the football field, a champion. Boy is so multifaceted, man. May Allah bless him. He's a Netflix TV star, but most importantly, man, he was one of the people that I was blessed to be able to help take their shahada, man. He took his shahada and it was one of the best days of my life, by far, no question. But Rodney actually tore his meniscus. He tore his meniscus, and I don't want to misquote, but I do believe it was something related to his MCL, either MCL or ACL. Nonetheless, his knee was shot. I watched this boy running on the field, and his entire leg would lock up. And we wanted to make sure that before his championship season, before his final season, that we got him in some of the best shape, but also feeling healthy and confident in his ability to perform on the field. A plethora of games later, through a battle-ridden season, and he was able to not only receive personal accolades, but also to become a champion, which is something that we all want to be, right? Not just when it comes to sports, but in life. You want to be a champion. But like I said, he's multifaceted. He's been able to break into the acting industry, and, may Allah safeguard him from everything that comes with that. But he was able to, talk to me about the things that he was experiencing and had that mentorship aspect, because I do believe in making sure that, hey, even if we're working together on a coach client basis, you got a brother in me, especially once, I know you're Muslim. That's something that takes it to a whole nother level. If you're Muslim, you know what I'm talking about. If you're watching this and you're Muslim, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Of course, we love our Christian cousins. We don't discriminate against believers, but there's just a different level when you're working with a fellow Muslim and you're trusting and doing business with a fellow Muslim. We actually were able to engage our deaf Muslim brothers earlier this year. It was one of the best events been able to attend this year. Non-fitness related, we were simply there to talk about our experience as reverts. And I'll get into my story in a little bit here, but once again, I want to just brag on my clients, man. It is one of the best feelings in the world when your clients see success and when they're able to, give you that gratitude just by them being able to do what they do. But first of all, let's give my boy a shout out. Give my boy the confetti. Give my boy the confetti. You know what I mean? Of course, brother Mario always gets the confetti as well. And moving on, right? Who am I? Who am I? What is my story, right? This guy's talking to you. He's got one lock. Like, well, yo, what does he have? What does he have going on? My name is Jamie Cumberbatch. I am a hard of hearing. Fun fact, hard of hearing. I do know sign language, but as you know, if we ever get on a phone call if we ever get on a discovery call, you'll notice that conversation is not hard for me. If it gets a little loud, I might ask you to repeat some things, but overall, there's a lot of layers here. So as you can see, I've got 3 pictures on the screen. I'm going to get into those here in a second, but first I want to take a step back to pre-Islam because, like I said, I am a revert, and part of that journey that I was talking to you guys about was way before I became Muslim. I can remember it was 2018 and I was preparing for football season and I needed to bulk up to play linebacker that year. And I did a dirty bulk. It was one of the most calorie ridden months of my life. I felt disgusting. My face rounded out. And believe it or not, I used to actually, grunt, sitting up, standing up and sitting down. And I can remember my roommates in college asking me like, yo, why are you breathing so hard? And to me, I'm like, hold on, you guys can hear me breathing? Like, that was a wake up call, man. I hated that feeling. And although I was doing it for football, I never wanted to feel like that ever again in my life. Fast forward to when I left college and went to pursue my dreams of playing football professionally, I dropped all the way from 215 to about 197 at my lowest. Now, the 197 was not preferably maintainable for me personally, but I just knew that I felt like I was in some of the best shape of my life. But spiritually, I still wasn't where I wanted to be. Before Islam, I was into the dunya hard, man, partying, just all of the things that you shouldn't be doing that just draw you further and further away from Allah's mercy and Allah's love. Those were the things I was engaged in, man. And of course, looking back, I wouldn't change anything simply because my experiences from my past have helped shape me into the man I am now. And it's allowed me to be comfortable in my Islam, like truly satisfied with the fact that I know I'm not missing out on anything. And one of my bosses that I worked for was Muslim. He gave me dawah. He talked to me about Islam. And for the longest, I battled back and forth with it, man, just not thinking it was true, doing my research, coming back, asking him questions, watching lectures, and just doing a lot of research. And finally, I backed myself into this theological corner. And the rest is history, man. If you can't beat them, say Allahu Akbar and join in Salat with them. You know what I mean? One of the best decisions I ever made in my life after I became Muslim, it felt like a spiritual weight was lifted off of me. You know, I felt like, man, I could die today and I would be all right with that. And it's something that me personally, I just didn't have that feeling while I was Christian. It was always this heavy feeling of religious conviction, but lack of structure, for better words. For me personally, as an athlete, I've been used to structure all my life, and Islam fits perfectly with that. Now, I've become Muslim. I'm doing my thing in the fitness industry, and we can start with this picture on the left. If you're black and you're watching this video, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, Dr. Umar Johnson. He is a Pan-Africanist. He is as pro-black as they get. I had the opportunity to visit his campus and meet him. He actually has a school, the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, and I wanted to see what the hype was about. I wanted to go to his event, meet him, chop it up. Once again, if we ever get on a call, ask me what that conversation was like, because it was pretty interesting. It was pretty funny. If you know who he is, then you can kind of guess how it went, but it was very interesting. And I'm pro-black 100%, but I'm also anti-hate of anybody. I don't believe in hating anybody. And of course, above being black, I am Muslim, because on the day of judgment, my skin color will not matter. However, while I'm on this earth, it is something that I have been blessed with. It is a part of my journey through this dunya. In the middle here, you can see that I played football professionally overseas. I got to play for a team known as the Białystok Lowlanders. Played all over the defensive side of the ball. You name it. Corner, linebacker, free safety, edge sealing, in the box safety, you name it, right? And once again, if we ever talk in person, I hope to meet you, whoever you are, but I'll tell you all about that experience in being in Poland. I can assure you it was cold, though. I can assure you it was cold. And then a more current picture. This picture all the way on the right is from this year. This was me when I got my first batch of Island Fit hoodies. Just something that I really wanted to do. The only people in the world right now that have an Island Fit hoodie are people that I have coached in some form or fashion at some point in their lives, whether it was nutritional advice, actually doing workouts, workout programming for them, accountability coaching, you name it. Those are the only people that have those hoodies. And I'm proud to say it. I'm proud to embody the idea and concept of Island Fit. I want all of the people that come in contact with my content, not even just clients, but you come in contact with my content, I want it to help you get so in shape and so comfortable in where you are in life that you feel like you look good on an island. That's just my philosophy. And that, that's overall my story, man. I'm a proud black man. I'm a prouder Muslim. I don't even know if prouder is a word. But I'm also, a devout husband and soon to be father, and showing my son the example of what a true man, in Arabic, a true rajal, what that looks like is literally number 2 on my list. Number 1, of course, being submission to Allah. But as men, we owe it to our families, we owe it to our wives, we owe it to our children to be the best versions of ourselves, because how can you lead the flock and you're out of breath? You know what I mean? How can you lead the flock and you're eating terrible and you're feeding your flock terrible? You know what I mean? I want to be somebody who is that shining light of hope and shining light of what hard work and perseverance can bring. Now, enough about me, right? you came on this video to learn about how you can become the leader that God intended you to be, how to become a better version of yourself. I just wanted to show you guys a little bit about the clients that I've worked with, some of the results that you know you can get a sneak peek of, and then also just a little bit about me, because I'm a firm believer in getting a genuine connection with people that I talk to, even if it's through a video like this. Where you are now compared to where you want and where you could be. As you can see, we've got a bridge here, right? If you notice, there are 4 pillars supporting this bridge. Now, understand that the 4 of these pillars are very important. You've got your deen, which is first and foremost. There's a reason why it is first on this bridge, right? Then you've got your fitness, you've got your nutrition, and you've got your accountability. Now, one thing about the deen is that it is going to actually be a support system for the next 3 beams. What do I mean by that, right? Going into fitness, it is a part of our religion to make sure that we are strong as men. The stronger believer is more beloved and closer to Allah than the weaker believer, although there is good in both. Sahih Muslim 2664, Abu Hurairah reported that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said that. So, with that knowledge, we need to be strong. There's no better way to get physically stronger than by working out. It just doesn't happen. Physically, you won't get stronger if you won't work out. You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean that you have to lift all the weight in the gym. Some people get really strong in endurance. Some people, love calisthenic workouts. Fun fact, I hate pull-ups. But you know what? So I make sure that I sharpen my toolbox. I make myself do pull-ups, because when we do the things that we don't like and they get easier for us, the rest of our life will go smoother. Getting a little bit more into that though, right? We want to make sure that we're able to protect and provide for our family. I never want my wife or my child to be out in public with me and feel like, oh, daddy can't protect me from that person or from that threat. No, not at all. We should be training ourselves so that we are ready for whatever this life throws at us, and making sure that we're able to stand strong and proud in front of our families. You know what I mean? Then we talk about nutrition. Once again, the deen talks about this. There is a authentic hadith, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on this. I'm going to do a video on it, so I'm going to do my research. But I know for a fact that it is said that there is no worse vessel that a man fills than his stomach. And this actually goes on, the quote goes on to talk about how if a man must insist on more than a few mouthfuls of food, that he should fill his stomach with 1/3 food, 1/3 water, 1/3 air. So that means that our deen has prescribed nutritional values to us. It's given us a prescription on how much you should be eating, how much you should be drinking, and how much you should just leave for air, right? Because as you know, especially in America, we overeat. Overeating is something that is dangerously common in this country. And we want to make sure that we minimize that as Muslims. You know what I mean? It's a part of our religion to fast the month of Ramadan. It's a part of our religion to follow the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad and fast on Mondays and Thursdays. You know what I mean? Something that I've actually been implementing myself recently, and I've already gotten compliments on how I look like I've lost weight in terms of body fat, is instead of me eating a large breakfast, I'll go fasted. I may eat some fruit, or I may, follow the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and I may eat three dates, and I'll go about my day. I'll have some caffeine to curb that enthusiasm, and then I won't eat again until lunch. But Today I recorded this video. I've been up since 6 a.m. I worked out from 8 to about 10 almost. Got home, was running around, and legitimately, I literally ate one meal, and I didn't eat that meal until about 7 o'clock. It happens like that. You know what I mean? It got to the point where my body entered ketosis, and my hunger pain stopped. And it was more so kind of like being in a flow state. I was just getting stuff done, you know what I mean? Being productive. So now we already see where our dean is helping out in fitness and nutrition. And we already know accountability. Come on, man. The dean is about accountability. If you can get up to pray 5 times a day, you can be held accountable to a fitness program. If you can be held accountable to fasting the month of Ramadan, come on now, you can be held accountable. If you can be held accountable to Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu an Muhammad Rasuluh, that is something that if we can be held accountable to those things, those obligatory parts of our religion, then you can be held accountable to a fitness program, because it's all going to feed back into your life positively. You know what I mean? Making sure that you're getting your workouts in, making sure that you're accomplishing your fitness goals in a timely manner, whatever timeline that looks like. Making sure that you're holding yourself to that gold standard, to that standard that is 100% necessary to be the best version of yourself. Now, the key thing, if you take away anything from this video, this is the key thing I want you to take away. Without this first support beam of this bridge of where you are to where you want to be, the rest is worthless. I repeat, the rest is worthless, brother. I say this with utmost conviction. This literally is one of the most important parts of this video, simply because if we don't have our deen, what do we have? That our deen is what makes us different. That is what differentiates the Muslim from the Kafir. That is what differentiates us from somebody who will be able to be interceded for on the day of judgment, as opposed to the Kafir, is that we are of the ummah of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. That is us. You know what I mean? So when we think about that, we need to make sure that our deen is intact, because if your deen is intact, the rest of your life will be intact. There will be nothing that'll come your way where you won't say, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for all of my endeavors, all of my affairs. And that is something that, I want all of us to, anybody who's watching this video, of course, take that and please let it sit in your heart, because we want to make sure that, yes, we cross that bridge to get from where you are to where you could be and where you want to be, but we can't do it without the deen. And after we get our deen in order and we start striving in our deen, guess what? The fitness comes in. And after we start getting those workouts in, we start feeling good and we get hungry after that workout, guess what? Now we got to eat right. We got to make sure we're putting the right fuel in our body. And once we put that right fuel in the body, guess what? We got to do it all over again. We got to make sure we stay consistent. We got to make sure that we're doing the right things that are going to help us get from point A to point B in the most efficient way possible. There's a reason that Mari was able to lose 30 pounds in roughly 4 months. There was a reason why Rodney was able to get back on the football field after such a major surgery and become a conference champion. There's a reason, why all of these things happen for us in life. It's not by chance. There is nobody coming to save you from your current situation. Allah will not change the state of a man. Allah will not change the state of a people until they change themselves. We as men have to change ourselves if we want to see a change around us. It starts with us internally, and then it'll just exude exorbitantly on the outside. I want you to remember that. I want you to always keep that in the back of your minds when you're thinking about your fitness journey. All right. And brother, listen to me. If you are ready to make a change, if you are absolutely fed up with where you currently are in life, because quite frankly, I'm fed up for you. You know what I mean? I've seen family members die of heart disease, you know what I mean, cardiovascular issues. I've seen people who've shortened their lifespan all because they didn't want to get it together or they weren't consistent with getting it together. And it's one of those things where you don't want to start when it's too late. Don't start when it's too late. Start right now. This is your call to action. Start right now. DM me the word leader. DM me the word leader if you're ready to make a change and become the best version of yourself. Because God intended for you to be a leader, somebody that the Ummah can be proud of, somebody that your family can be proud of, and somebody that on the day of judgment, God can look at you and say, you did what you were supposed to. All right? Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I look forward to seeing you on the other side. Peace. And this leads to the final part of these pillars, right? Accountability. And as you know, our deen definitely goes into accountability to the utmost degree, right? If you can stay accountable to Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu an Muhammad abduhu wa rasuluh, if you can stay accountable to waking up 4 or 5 in the morning for Fajr. Fun fact, when I was in Poland, Fajr was at 2 in the morning. I just didn't even bother going to sleep. But I say all of that to say, like, if you can stay committed to the structure and to the obligations of the Muslim, then you can stay accountable to a fitness program. That should be no sweat. There's no way you should be able to engage in the act of worship of Ramadan and not be able to hold yourself accountable in a fitness program. We want to make sure that we keep the deen in everything we do. But as you can see, and as I can see, God and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, you know what I mean, gave us a perfected religion 1400 years ago. So getting into this next slide, if you remember anything I say during this video, I want you to remember this. Without the first support beam of the bridge, aka our deen, the rest are worthless. I'm going to say that again. Without that first support beam of the bridge, the rest are worthless. There is no benefit in making our dunya good if our akhirah is not good. I do not have an urge to help somebody that does not also want to get closer to God during that process. It's just simply I'm not willing to do. If you're not Muslim and you're Christian and you want to get closer to God, great, we can talk about it. But we want to make sure that we're building men that are strong physically, mentally, spiritually, and inshallah financially. But there are steps that need to be taken. There are measures, checks and balances that our deen has instilled, and of course that I've subsequently instilled in this program. All right, we want to make sure we're holding each other accountable and being the best versions of ourselves daily. So, thank you for watching this video. If you've made it to the end, I appreciate you, brother. If you are ready to make a change, which after watching this video, I hope I got you fired up, man. I hope to see your name come across my scheduled list of calls that I need to take. I want to get on a discovery call with you. I want to talk about where you are versus where you want to be. And let's discover together what that process looks like and if I can be of assistance. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to click off of this video. I want you to go to my Instagram and I want you to DM me the word leader. All right. You're going to DM me the word leader. We're going to have a conversation in the DMs and we're going to talk about how you can become the best version of yourself and the leader that God intended for you to be. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace.